You can tell as to why there's nobody here. Oh, hey, guys, I have 6 o'clock. Please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And roll call, please. Okay, Christie.
Rovinsky,
Present.
Stevens,
Here.
Pappenfort,
Present.
Martin. Here. Schreiner,
Here.
Fontana,
Here.
Mayor Critelli.
Present.
A quorum is present.
Awesome. Okay, well, first thing we have the consent agenda. Any motion or discussion on that?
Mr. Mayor, I would like to move item number 5 from the consent agenda, ordinance 2026-06, down to new business. If I have any support for that?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion from Councilmember Martin, seconded by Councilmember Schreiner, to move item number 5, ordinance 2026-06 to new business. Is there any further discussion on that?
I would offer, do we need to vote on that?
Yeah, a
Yeah.
motion was made.
Motions were made. Let's vote.
Why not?
I thought we just needed 2 people to move it.
Moving, it's fine, you just make a motion to approve the consent agenda
Oh.
as amended.
That's what I was gonna
Don't
do.
have to-
Oh,
Because your
Okay.
handbook says you just need 2 people to move it.
Oh, great.
We had to.
Right.
All right, so we had 2, so that's moved to new
Okay,
business.
so I move to approve, combine and approve the consent agenda, moving item 5 out for further discussion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion from Councilmember Pappenfort, seconded by Councilmember Fontana, to combine and approve the items on the consent agenda and moving item 5 to new business. Any discussion on that?
Fontana,
Yes.
Pappenfort,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes?
Stevens,
Yes.
Schreiner,
Yes.
Rovinsky.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay, up next we have citizen comment. This is an opportunity for the city council to hear from our community. The public will be limited to 3 minutes each during citizen comment. City council may not respond to your comment this evening, rather, well, they can in our council reports at the end of the meeting. We're gonna edit that. Rather, take your comments and suggestions into advisement. Also, the city administrator will correct for public record if necessary. Okay, first we have Mike Lefevre.
Hello, council members. My name is Mike Lefevre. I am a food grower, designer, educator, and an artist. I have been an active member of this community since December 2025. Thank you for providing a forum for the citizens to share their perspectives. Last meeting, I spoke against the development of the South Arc neighborhood at Vanderveer Ranch. I would like to apologize. The words I spoke in the last meeting were divisive and rooted in fear. I'm sorry. I've been seeking perspectives from members of this community, and I understand the situation is complex, and the intent of the development is to provide affordable homes for the people and families that serve this community. I want people to be able to live in the community they serve. My divisive comments were based on a great fear, which I will share with you. Across the country, I'm seeing perennial grassland being replaced by annual crops. Annual food crops are notably less effective at holding soil during dry conditions. The Midwest relies on irrigation water to hold soil in place to prevent another Dust Bowl. Aquifers are being depleted and are not recovering. Water tables have dropped significantly and are continuing to drop. Topsoil has diminished, which means less water holding capacity. My great fear is there will be a year where the water runs out and we will experience another Dust Bowl magnitudes of times greater than the last. The world would turn cold and there would be a great famine. Around Denver, I've seen agricultural land replaced by so many homes that it will be difficult for communities to grow their own food. I have flown across the US and seen annual row crops covering the plains. I want this community to produce enough food to feed ourselves. and ideally generate more food than we can eat, so if my great fear comes true, we can share. This requires the community to be intentional about setting land aside for agriculture. So, Salida City Council members, I hope you will forgive me for the way in which I spoke at the last meeting. My intent was to safeguard this community and others. My perspective is limited, and my actions were not aligned with my intent. Regarding the South Arc development, I would like to continue to share my evolving perspective in a way that's respectful and with the intent of finding common ground. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Do we have anybody online that wants to speak?
No one has their hand raised.
Okay. Well, then I can close citizen comment. And also say that might be one of the few apologies that this council's ever gotten for citizen comment.
The only
So
one I can
relish
think of.
in that moment.
Thank you.
Mayor,
That'll never happen again.
Mayor,
Uh,
I apologize. Adam Martinez is online.
Oh.
Just raised his hand right when I said no one raised their hand, so.
Okay, a balance must be struck. Okay, Adam, please speak.
That was,
Adam, you'll need to unmute yourself, please. Adam, can you unmute yourself?
Still not hearing him.
I could probably speak for him. Let me read off my phone.
That's okay.
Last message I got from him.
Right. Still
Yeah, unfortunately,
still nothing, huh?
not unmuting.
Sorry, Adam, must be some technical difficulties. We'll just have to hear from you.
the chat, if you felt like.
Oh, yeah,
Adam,
yeah.
you can type in the chat and I can read it for you if you'd like.
Yeah.
I will let you know.
Okay,
Thank
I'll
you.
make a proclamation first. Okay. Next, we have a proclamation celebrating February 2026 as Black History Month. Whereas during Black History Month, we honor the extraordinary contributions made by African Americans throughout the history of our republic, and we renew our commitment to liberty and justice for all. And whereas during Black History Month, we recognize the achievements of African Americans and their role in shaping history, along with the contributions that African Americans have made to enhance the economic, cultural, spiritual, and political development of our country. And whereas during Black History Month, we recognize the essential role of African Americans in shaping the story of America and honor their courage and contributions. And whereas the omission of much of the history and contributions of African Americans from textbooks and other literature has impeded awareness and appreciation. And whereas the celebration of Black History Month is a positive way of recognizing the culture and history of African Americans as vital to the core beliefs and values of the society. And whereas observing Black History Month provides opportunities to gain a deeper understanding of African American history and acknowledge the centuries of struggle for equality and freedom. Now, therefore, the Salida City Council does hereby proclaim and declare the month of February as Black History Month in Salida, Colorado, and further encourages all Salidans to observe this month with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities. Okay, moving on to unfinished business. Ordinance 2026-05, an ordinance of the City of Salida, Colorado, amending the Salida Municipal Code with regard to the disposition of revenue. This is a second reading and a public hearing. And I hereby open the hearing publicly. And staff, you can give summarize your report and explain what is being requested and apply relevant code provisions and make recommendations, confirms proper notice publication of the public hearing as written.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You got it.
Appreciate that.
good ideas.
Those are
My
wonderful,
pleasure.
Wonderful ideas. So, as mentioned in the first reading, this is an ordinance that corrects the municipal code. Section 42030 of special funds of the municipal code outlines the different funds within the Salida city budget. Subsection 6 pertains to the Economic Development Fund, which allows for up to 2% of the proceeds received from the 3% sales tax to go into that fund. And that was based on an election that took place. When the municipal code was updated post-election, the disposition of revenue section of the code was not updated properly. So it says that 10% of the proceeds received go into that fund, which is incorrect. So this ordinance simply corrects the municipal code based on the actions of the community. And I'm happy to take any questions.
Do you stay up all night reading these things? How do you find these things? You're amazing.
Indeed, she does stay up all night reading these things.
This is how I fall asleep at night.
Question.
It was probably looking for something else to do with a different report, and so we just found the error, so.
Thank you, that makes more sense.
Yeah, it really did.
Any questions before public comment, just preliminarily? No?
I don't think so.
Okay. Public comment. Interested persons from the general public may speak, testify, address council
Nobody
with a
there.
3-minute limit.
There's nobody on it. There's no one on signed up unless Mr. LaFever.
Will
decided
anybody
that he's
remotely like to
interested.
participate in public comment on this?
No one remotely wants to participate in this.
Okay.
Like a motion?
Or
Oh, hold on.
virtually.
I have to go
Virtually
through
or
every,
remotely.
hold on, I have to go through every step.
The public
Okay,
hearing.
so there's no applicant may offer rebuttal.
I'm good.
There's nothing to, so closing statement.
Thank you for your time.
Okay.
Thank you
For your time.
Any further questions from council as far as the comments made after public comments? So thank you for your time. Anybody wants to ask a question about that or address that? Okay, I get to close the public hearing and allow for preliminary council discussion.
Let's do it. Let's fix this little error.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve. Okay, no, I was like, I didn't know if someone had a question. Sorry, no.
Oh, no, the next step
I'm
is
trying
call
to
for
rush it.
motion.
Okay, great. I move to approve ordinance 2026-05, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Salida, Colorado, amending the Salida Municipal Code with regard to the disposition of revenue.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion made by Councilmember Martin, seconded by Councilmember Pappenfort to approve ordinance 2026-05, an ordinance of the City of Salida, Colorado, amending the Salida Municipal Code with regard to the disposition of revenue. Any further deliberation, as it's stated? Okay, roll call vote time.
Martin,
This is great. I'm
Yes.
gonna use this every time.
Stevens,
Yes.
Rovinsky,
Yes.
Shriner,
Yes.
Pappenfort,
Yes.
Fontana,
Yes.
motion passed.
Okay, and now we move to new business, ordinance 2026-06, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Salida, Colorado, amending Chapter 6 of Article 6 of the Salida Municipal Code regarding short-term rental business licenses. And this is a first reading. Who would like to begin a discussion on that? I guess I'll allow the council members that wanted this move to new business to maybe open up as far as what the stated goal of addressing
Yeah,
this currently, or moving it to new business was.
yes. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my main concern is with the lifting of the residency requirement for the MC. When we asked for the planning commission to review the caps, we were doing that in hopes of lowering them because we lifted the residency requirement downtown. So it was kind of a caveat of, okay, we're gonna lift this requirement, and by doing that, we would like to see the caps go down. And we Councilmember Fontana pointed out in that moment, it's like, this is not the time to discuss the caps. You know, we're just kind of throwing out random numbers. Let's send it down to the planning commission. So when we sent it down to them, I guess I'm concerned that what we saw for a decrease in the number of in the caps was only 1.6%. So we didn't necessarily get a decrease in caps. And we're also being proposed another lifting of the residency requirement. I would like to take more time looking at the effects of what's gonna happen downtown. And I am only anticipating positive ones, truly I am. I just want to see that happen. And that's why I pushed for it to happen. I was advocating for that. And I do hope that we see positive outcome from it. When we see that, I would like to then revisit the idea of having the residency requirement lifted for the MC zoning. So those are my thoughts, and that was why I wanted to bring this up, was that the caps I'm fine with. I would, after discussion, right now initially I'm thinking amending the ordinance to take out just the residency requirement for mixed-use center zone and moving the policy forward for further discussion on the 17th.
And,
Can I-
and just for clarification, all other aspects of the caps, the application, issuance, and renewals, that remains intact. It's just the discussion of, or section 6-6-20G7 residency requirements in mixed-use center zone.
Yes.
Cool.
Can I just ask a clarifying question? When you're asking for a positive outcome, what is that, how does that look so that staff can understand what it is that you
Yes.
guys are looking for?
Yeah, I guess seeing like economic, not like surplus, but like, I mean, I don't really know how to measure the success of an STR, but I guess, that's a really great question. And I don't know how
Okay.
I would measure that.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that we're capturing what it is that the council's looking for.
Yes.
Okay.
I guess as far as like potential outcomes that there could be.
Yes,
Right, it would be like number of STRs, it would be like amount going in to the Affordable Housing Fund. It would, like, there's a couple of metrics
Right.
that apply.
Just seeing more STRs come in and that cap, getting closer to that cap and seeing that what we've done is work to try and get a positive outcome in.
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah. This
would you
month-
like the Finance Committee to take a closer look at this?
Well, I guess that certainly is an option if that's where you would like this. I mean, it sounds like Councilmember Martin wants this to be potentially removed. So I guess we should cross that first bridge and then see if that isn't the case, then there's something to actually discuss as far as economic impact. I'm not exactly,
I guess, yeah, I think like thinking about the caps for like downtown, if we do get closer to the cap for like the MD, sorry, it was like, which one is it now? Yeah, so for MD, so if we do get closer to that, we're seeing revenue from that, from like the licensing, and like you're saying, like from, our affordable housing fund getting punished, then that is a signal of like, okay, so this isn't necessarily like a barrier. I guess like if we keep the residency requirement for MC, it allows for our locals to have that opportunity for investment into something that they're interested in, I guess. Once we lift that, when and if we lift that, then it's open to other investors. I'm hoping to see that we do get more investment in the MD after lifting this residency requirement, so maybe that is the metric, is that the amount of licenses that we have, if that is increasing, or not the, but a metric we could look at. And if we are seeing increases there, we're seeing that it is having a positive impact on our affordable housing fund. I think that would be a more appropriate time to discuss how to move forward with MC.
So I think any metrics that we see are gonna be nuanced. I mean, there are long-term rentals down there, and if those owners are changing into short-term because now the residency restriction is lifted and they can now short-term rent it, then those long-term renters are now out and trying to find housing. And I don't think that is, so that would be raising the short-term rental permits number, which is good, as we're saying. It would also be increasing the revenue that goes into that fund, which we're saying is good. But then how many long-term renters are being displaced? So I think just that number by itself would be probably maybe misleading. What I would love to see is for Ben just to kind of paint a picture and show us, like, I don't know if you can break it down to just that section of the short-term rental permits and the money coming in from just that area of town, but I would like to see as many metrics as kind of you think you can come up with and show us so that we get a full picture of it and we can kind of discuss, well, I think this part is important to look at, I think this part is important to look at, and this maybe is misrepresenting, maybe there's correlation on causality. And so I think maybe giving us a broad picture of what's going on, not necessarily just a couple metrics. I don't know if that's possible because I don't know how you can break that down exactly, but I think there are some easy metrics to find that may be misleading. So I'd like to see more.
I have a few thoughts.
Sure.
So I'd like to ask if I reached out to the developer, and in saying that, he advised and talked about how when this was put into a development plan, that he worked with Bill Elmquist in the city of Salida. And he said that when this was put into place, it was zoned the exact same thing as our downtown district. Isn't that correct, Bill?
Yes.
Okay, so in saying that, when we changed our zoning on this, we have changed the idea of what this developer had in mind. Mr. Pokorny had a huge development. He had to bring this forward to you. He had a development in mind. He knew what was going to go there with the hopes that there would be the same zoning as downtown. So then we as a city of Salida changed that zoning on his project. So that changes the whole feel of that, what we called the node last night, this MC district. So this MC is supposed to be a vibrant, walkable community. It's got a bakery, it's got mojos there, it's got restaurants, it's got new bars. It has all of these things that will produce sales tax revenue. And adding STRs, adding the residency requirement restriction being lifted on this could definitely impact our sales tax. It could definitely impact our affordable housing fund. The more STRs you rent, the more affordable housing fund you have available. I mean, that's apples to apples. That is just the math of the situation. So when we as a city have changed this zoning on this developer, that makes his community not as vibrant. These businesses have invested in his property with the guarantees that they had this zoning when they invested. They were all built there with more to come with this old zoning, with the MC zoning. Isn't that correct? Or the downtown district zoning?
Yeah, I mean, to be factually accurate, the Two Rivers Commons development was proposed as part of a subdivision prior to the STR area caps going in. However, the STR area caps that went in, and I believe it was 2021, did indeed call out Two Rivers Commons similar to the downtown as far as one of the areas. I mean, it had the same zoning district, I should say, as downtown. They were in two different STR areas, however. So the caps were a little bit different between the two, but the zoning of downtown was the exact same as that for Two Rivers Commons.
So what I'm getting at is that we have told these businesses that have invested in there, this developer who has made a significant investment in this, that we had the same zoning. So when we put those caps, it still caps that area also. The caps are in place, which that was before I was up here. I think you two were up here. And that was in place for a reason. It put the brakes on how many STRs you can have. It put the brakes on, it definitely funded the affordable housing, but it also said, this is the max you can ever receive into your affordable housing fund. We can always lower that, we can always lower those caps, but until we give them a chance to get there, we don't know how much is going to go in the affordable housing fund. We don't know how much sales tax revenue is going to be raised. We are already having, we keep talking about a downturn in our tourism. We keep talking about a downturn in what are we gonna do as a city if we don't meet our budget goals, if our economy is not strong this year. So we have to do everything we can as a city to realize some of the income that may be coming in. I'm not saying this is definitely going to bring people in, but it's going to give us a chance as a city to bring more people in, to come in and stay at an STR in a new community for longer periods of time, to come in to a different part of the city of Salida. And possibly those, you know, those second homeowners would turn that loose into project management company to provide more jobs, it was never intended for residential use in that Two Rivers Commons. It was intended for development. It was intended not as a residential area. So I don't know why we would not treat it as anything but a C2 commercial district. That's what it was intended
So the
for.
claim you're saying is that the developer is stating that we changed the deal on them? Is that what you're
Absolutely.
saying? Just to paraphrase? Okay.
Absolutely.
Anybody else like to chime in? Yeah.
Yeah, I think in fairness to the developer and the commitment that we made, and that, you know, it's the same as downtown, that we should honor our agreement. I also think that we should honor the recommendation of Planning Commission, who has taken a deep dive into this. I think just arbitrarily making one area wait to have their zoning restored to what it was until we collect more data. We already have a lot of data, and the data says we still need affordable housing, and we have a tremendous amount of commitments to match grants and to get the affordable housing going in these areas that we all have heard about endlessly. And so I think that, you know, I really like all of the changes that have been made. The reduction in the caps is minimal, but the orchestration of it is brilliant. It is putting the short-term rentals where residents want them, in the commercial areas, out of the neighborhoods. And so I'm really thrilled with the work that Planning Commission and staff has done.
Can I just point out, there's 4 parts, is that okay, Mayor? Can I?
Yeah, totally.
I feel like there's 4 parts of the ordinance, I just want to clarify. So, I mean, I know there's 2 listed, there's a residency requirement, which we've been speaking about, the application and renewal, which staff has, you know, really explained logistically they really need.
Yeah.
The caps was, we changed even the language to reflect the new zoning districts. And then 4th was a lot of cleanup that the clerk had told the lawyer about to clean up that is similar of interest to the revenue ordinance that you just saw. So I just wanted to point that out. If you were to do anything different as to one issue for the policy, that maybe staff wants the rest of the 3 to go forward. Of course, that's not even where you're at yet. I just wanted to point out that there's these 4 different parts of the ordinance.
Yeah, I think we've established that everybody's pretty amenable to all other aspects of this, unless I got that wrong. So really, yeah, we're just focused on section 6-6-20G7 specifically.
Question.
Yeah,
Or,
well, does anybody else want to speak to that?
yeah, so how, for the MH/MC, the cap is 50, how is that, divvied up? Like, how many can MC have? Is there a limit? Can they have all
There's
50?
currently as written, there's no limit to MC. It encapsulates both of those zone districts, which is probably, well, it's all of that property along Highway 50 from Walmart all the way down to basically to the bend, just beyond 291 and 50. So about 3 miles of that area. But it could, all 50 could go to MC or future MC properties. All 50 could go to MH or anything in between.
And this would align with the
concerning to
zoning
me.
intent, right? If we,
Well, we, as a council, set the intent as far as what
Right.
we want
with
it
the
to look
planning
like.
commission.
Oh, yeah.
This aligns with what the planning commission
Yeah, this is
has
their-
recommended with the zoning.
Yeah, there's.
Short-term
this-
rentals are an allowed use within the MH and MC zone districts.
I think giving our locals here an opportunity for that investment first, we're supporting local. Is that not what we all say up here all the time? Support local. And then, I mean, I'm very open to discussing this in due time. I'm not saying absolutely no, I just think, can we breathe a little bit with what we just discussed in November about lifting the residency requirement for one section of our community? And we saw the conversations and heard the conversations that it started in the community, and I just feel like it would be very prudent to just let that breathe and revisit. I'm very open to revisiting this conversation.
I feel like I want to go back to the idea of getting some of the broader picture in terms of, like, I just feel like there's a lot of generalizations and assumptions being made about who's going to spend more money and what people's motivations are. And I just don't know that we can really know that. And so I'm all about breathing, taking a minute, getting the information. I'm super here for that. And I would like it because when I look at this, it looks to me like we have a residency requirement and we're not getting there, right? And so if we want to, like, I'm all about I want locals to have the opportunity to do this investment, but they're like not doing it, right? And so I think that was kind of the conversation, though this was before my time, so correct me if I'm wrong, that was a lot of the motivation for removing it in the downtown space was we're not meeting our capacity, right? And so I'm not, again, not to make a sweeping generalization that locals won't do it, but that's what this looks like to me. And so getting some more comprehensive information, I think would really help me in making that decision, because if I just look at this table, the very simple answer is, well, we're not meeting capacity, so remove a restriction. And that feels a little overly simplified.
Can I speak to that? So I think part of it, I mean, especially in this section, is some of those projects are just being finished. And so those caps aren't being met. But I think there's a lot to unpack here, and I don't disagree with from the developer side. I understand what they're saying, and they're not necessarily wrong. One of the things that I think gets talked about up here a lot is we need more in that affordable housing fund. If we're creating a situation where the real estate prices are higher across the board, then we need more affordable housing fund. And allowing non-residents to use these properties as short-term rentals increases the demand on these properties, which obviously increases the price of these properties. And that has an effect on the rest of the city by increasing the price of real estate. So if our goal is, well, we need as much money as we can get in this affordable housing fund, and we're willing to pull off all the brakes, I mean, we're never gonna get to a point where we have enough, because the price is just gonna keep going up. I think allowing outside investors to have short-term rentals in that area is obviously going to raise the real estate price, which across the city is something that I think this council and the council before made very clear that they did not want to do that. So I think this is an easy one for me. I understand that we've already changed the other area to this. They are not zoned the same anymore, so I don't think it's apples to apples. And that's kind of where I'm at with it. And I think if you're wanting a community feel, that term community, filling this area with short-term rentals is not gonna make more of a community. I mean, I know people that live just on the edge of it.
I live right there.
Wales lives right here. Some friends of mine live right here. And if you have more people that I believe are wonderful people to have in the community, if you give them a chance to buy in this area, instead of opening it up to California, Texas, Florida investors who just want to do short-term rentals and make money off of it, you're not going to get those people living there because the prices are going to be astronomical. And that is just going to feed down to the bigger part of town over here, because those prices are all going to go up too. And not huge just because of one property, but slowly, as we've seen, it's going to go up. And that's something that we've said that we don't want to happen. So do we revisit it later? I'm fine with that. But right now, I don't see how our values are here and we want to do this over here. I get the developer side. I understand. I feel for him. I do. But I just don't think this is the answer, is to lift the residency for this section of town.
So there's two, okay, yeah.
Mr. Mayor, I think the citizens have been very clear with their vote, and the only way they have given us an avenue to make money for affordable housing is through short-term rentals. They don't want to pay. They're the ones who sacrificed, holding on to the past. And this is a young council that should be facing the future bravely. And we need short-term rentals in the commercial areas to fund the commitments that we have already made. We've not delayed making these commitments to affordable housing. But arbitrarily, we want to try to delay the income to honor our agreements. We're just going to break all kinds of agreements if we stall on this. We're breaking our agreement with the developer. We're breaking our agreement with the public, who wants all the money to come from this. They knew full well what the consequences would be. Just like any time that we say, I don't want to, get them to do it. There's always a price that comes with that. And that's the price that we're being asked to pay so that we can fund the affordable housing. We're talking about a minuscule piece of property here, a minuscule piece of property. Let's be brave and embrace what the Planning Commission has advised, what we originally promised the developer, and let's get this whole thing done.
I think the citizens just voted on that, the non-resident restriction, didn't they?
The citizens voted to have short-term rental be the only way we can get money for affordable housing. They crushed the CHA referendum. It was on the ballot to raise funds. They were going for a sales tax. The citizens crushed that and made very clear the only avenue we have to get money for affordable housing is short-term rentals. Staff and the Planning Commission have put these in the commercial zones, and they're giving us an opportunity to honor our commitments here. We have sent the signal to the business community repeatedly that we're closed for business. We need to reopen the door. We saw the 10-year plan last night. We got big projects. We got big demands from the citizen, with very little opportunity to meet those demands. Here's a little opportunity to meet some of these demands.
Okay, so there's two avenues, just moving forward, just logistics, because I'm the logistics guy. So, you can decide, with a motion in a second to remove a certain section that we've been discussing from this now. You could do that now. And we can vote on it and may or may not go. Or we could wait to do such a thing for second reading with a public hearing, which means then therefore we're explaining ourselves to a general public that, as you can see, is not represented currently. So those are two options moving forward. I think also, just like as an aside, keeping track of metrics, the metrics that were discussed, either way, I think that's a good thing to keep track of. So, and if Finance Committee would like to take that up one way or another, that those are all very valid and good metrics to just keep an eye on.
Mr.
So
Mayor,
that's just kind of
can I offer one other perspective here, just a
No,
piece of
just kidding.
information?
I'm kidding. Please.
So of all the zone districts and the various caps, the MH and MC zone districts are the zone districts that have the fewest amount of residential units currently. There's virtually no residential units out along Highway 50. Everything else, obviously the R1, R2, R3, MN, and even downtown have existing residential units. So in a way, and in some of the messaging that we received, around this was that allowing for short-term rental licenses in general would help incentivize more residential development in general out along the highway, which has been something that this council has stated they would like to see more of for years. Short-term rental licenses also can be an incentive for residential development in general, right? So the ability of a developer to sell some of their units for short-term rental use incentivizes them to build those units in the first place. And any of those projects coming through our office are still going to be required to meet the inclusionary housing policies of 1 out of 6 of those units to be affordable, which arguably accomplishes our affordable housing goals quicker than the money that we bring in short-term rental taxes. Okay, so the whole message there is the more development, the more residential development, the more affordable housing units that we can get onto the ground. And if some of those market rate units that are a part of those projects can funnel taxes back into the affordable housing fund, then there's even more affordable units that can be built, right? So, and just the facts on the ground, Two Rivers Commons, again, is the only MC zoned property in town currently. There's a handful of existing residential units that have gotten their COs. And then there are a number of them that are being built right now that anticipate having their COs in the coming 6 months to a year. So short-term rental licenses are not going to displace very many existing long-term renters or homeowners. Because those are literally pretty much the only residential units in this entire MH and MC area.
And that development, when that was being planned, you knew that that was going to be an MC or a mixed commercial use development, and then the residential were established on the outside of that.
Yeah, it's a mixed use, commercial on the ground floor with some residential, what is the development there? The Mayfly condominiums were built, and those expect to have up to 17 units built in those. None of those are going to be affordable because the affordability portion was already met with the 8 townhomes that are adjacent to this development. But yes, to answer your question, the vast majority of it is anticipated as commercial in one way or another. Even those condos are envisioned as commercial in one shape,
So
way, shape,
the
or form.
residents who purchased there knew that this was going to be a mixed-use commercial zone?
Yes.
As far as displacement, that displacement factor goes, is that an easy metric to try to establish? I don't know how.
It's not. I think we saw more of that, back in 2020 when we saw the huge uptick of STR licenses, especially when long-term renters were being maybe kicked out so that folks could sell their homes for potential short-term use. Maybe we have a little bit of data around that, but it's a real hard one to compute and to calculate.
When we discuss inclusionary housing and our policy for that, our requirement of 1 out of 6 is for 80% AMI levels and up. I would just like to remind our council and staff that our workforce, I actually met with Marjo last week at the Housing Authority, and I believe it's either 51 or 52% of our workforce, either in Salida or Chaffee County, are not at 80% AMI. So we have and that is a whole different discussion. It's being brought up of like, this is something that is, another aspect of this discussion. And I just wanted to also point out that not even half of our workforce are at 80% AMI.
You mean they're less than?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for clarifying. Yes, they are less than 80% AMI.
One thing we haven't really brought up in this whole discussion is, we have to remember that Salida is a tourism-driven town, right? That's what keeps our lights on. They come into town, they spend money in our businesses, that sales tax goes to our cities, or to our city. So STRs, that means tourism. Tourists are gonna come, stay at those STRs. That means they're gonna go down to these downtown businesses, they're gonna go out to those new businesses out there in the Two Rivers to Mojo's and the new coffee bars, and they're gonna spend their money there. And so we gotta remember, tourism is our big, right now, unfortunately, I hate to say it, tourism is kind of number one in Salida right now, because that's where our money's going. I can see, how people are, I'd love to be able to sit back and be like, yeah, I'd love to see our community step up and fill these spots, which this has been in effect for, I'm not sure how long now, since before I was on the board with the residency restrictions. And that's not all. We have residency restrictions, we have the caps, and we have, one per block per street or something like that?
Residential zones,
So,
yes.
I mean, that's a lot of stop blocks right there. We have, still a lot of safety guards that we can rely on. So raising resident restrictions is how we're gonna get, I think, to those caps, and then, the one per block. And we're gonna see these caps get met, and we're gonna see our, that money go to where we need it to get these affordable housing, builds or projects up online, up and going, get these people where they can, get into something that they're gonna be able to buy one day and not just throwing their money away on rent, just buying and paying somebody else's mortgage. If we get these, the faster we can get these up, if we have to, raise it, just the residency restriction, just for, to see what happens, get to these caps, get some money in there, get the people that wanna live here, that need these affordable housing places, an actual house to live in, spend their money, and, be able to keep their money. So, I mean, just having, having that, to me, getting there faster is worth, I mean, I love what you guys have done with this, like you say, keeping the STRs out away from the downtown areas and putting them where they need to be, so they can, people can come in and spend money, leave, new people come in, spend money, leave. It's like a revolving door of money for our Affordable Care Act and our affordable housing. And which that
Boy, does
needs-
Affordable
that
Care
needs
Act
too,
need it.
doesn't it?
It is
But,
getting gutted.
And then also seeing money coming in to, for sales tax for our city as well. So just remember, tourism we're a tourism-driven city right there, so.
We also have hotels for our tourists. We don't need more STRs.
So,
Yeah, I think that argument relies a lot on vacancy rates, right? I mean, if we're at 100% all the time, I totally agree, but we're not. I think even at the busiest times, I don't think we get farther than 80, 90%. And, the shoulder season, I mean, we're at 40 or below. And so I don't necessarily, I think if you're saying that it's vacancy rate, it's always 100% filled, 100%, yeah, then we need to do something about that. But it's just not. And so I don't think the number of STRs we have out there is a problem because we're not seeing full vacancy constantly. Does that make sense? I mean, it's like if you have one hotel, right? And if it's full all the time, you build another hotel. But if it's never full, it gets close, but it's never full, I don't think you need to build a whole nother hotel. So I see your argument, but unless they show me the vacancy is like, we're always full, that it doesn't hold water for me.
Do we have some way of knowing do we have reason to believe that if we lifted this residency requirement, like an influx of people would just fill these caps? Like, do we have some way of measuring the demand for this?
Crystal ball.
Yeah, I was predicting the future. Right?
Sure,
I mean,
okay.
Anecdotally, I have a bit on that. I mean,
We
when
don't like track, oh, well, these people wanted to get an STR license here, but they can't because they're not residents.
well, like the Palace did establish that specifically, and that's why the downtown, that's why we adjusted for downtown, because they were telling us. So it is only anecdotal. I mean, which we have the luxury of having because we're local, so we can just bump into somebody in the street and say, hey.
It's just like, are we spending a lot of time worrying about a problem that might not exist?
And I will say, when we lifted.
Always, by the way, always.
When we lifted the residency downtown, we have received a lot of calls. We haven't got a lot of applications. We have a few, but a lot of calls. People interested in either buying downtown and short-term renting or converting what they have to short-term rental.
Which is great, because that
I
was
mean,
the
one of the
point.
biggest
Like,
questions, being in the real estate, my wife is a real estate agent, and one of the first questions that a lot of the people ask when they buy a house, come to buy a house here the question is, can I STR it? And usually when the answer is no, you can't, then, yeah, it just drops away too, so.
I have a little bit of a perspective on that.
Yeah.
I sit in an office and field calls about real estate because I'm a real estate agent. And I would say before a lot of these restrictions went in, and I tell this story all the time, before it went in, I would say 8 out of 10 calls was from somebody out of state saying, hey, I visited there once, I want to buy a place and short-term rent it. And of course I say, great, wonderful, let's find you one, the perfect one for you, and blah, blah, blah. Now that we have these restrictions, it's maybe 2 out of every 10. And I get to have the conversation with them of, well, here's the restrictions, and also here's why. And yet there's still some people that are like, well, that's stupid. I want to come in there and, I want to buy a place and blah, blah, blah. But a lot of them say, that's wonderful. I mean, I think that would help these other areas that I've been to that have been blown out with tourism and short-term rentals everywhere. And so I would say I'm on the front line seeing how having those conversations is not only for me feels good, but for also kind of educating that buyer of, hey, here's the restrictions we have. So you can't buy here, you can buy nearby, you could buy over in this town, but you can't buy here because of this. And there is a lot of positive reaction to that. So I don't think it's just easy to go, well, let's just let them in, so.
Okay, so just temperature check. Is there anybody on this council right now that feels like maybe they could change their mind in the next 2 weeks? And if that's not the case, then maybe we can make a decision.
I would like to.
I feel like I could change my mind in the next 2 weeks.
I was about to say, technically, we should all be open-minded for the next 2 weeks. on anything.
And
For sure.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to get help crafting a motion, because what I'd like to do is split the obvious things that everybody's agreed on and vote those in. And
This is just the
then
first reading.
have that second part about the residency be a second piece, because we need to at least get the majority of this passed, because it's just business.
I think you can certainly
I'm happy with that.
The
remove.
lawyer's here, she
I
can
think you
help me.
can remove a section for further discussion from this.
If that's what you want to do, although the way, unless you want to move this to second reading, have a public hearing, hear public input, and then at that point, you could always move the three things forward, other than the residency restriction, or you could move the whole thing forward. So I think I'll help craft a motion if you are not moving everything forward to second reading for a public hearing.
We could do that. We could vote on the three and then move the controversial part forward, get the public to weigh in on that.
Well, it's first reading.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
first reading.
Yeah, that
This
would,
is first reading.
what it sounds like is this would be a separate first and second reading of its own.
Depending on what you want to do, but maybe,
Sign.
maybe you want to move the whole thing to second reading, have a public hearing, listen to
Yeah.
the public.
I am open to that, to just moving it all forward, having the
Because
public
then,
comment.
because
And
then
then we
all
could
we
help
would-
you with.
Because
what
then
you-
all we would have to
I
do
would
is
like
just approve this for second reading and set the public hearing. And that's all we have to do right now, without making any like permanent or, any drastic.
Dissections or, yeah,
Yeah.
most straightforward.
Yes,
Let's do that.
especially if we think we can change our mind in the next, I always feel like I can change my mind in 2 weeks.
Well, I think I'm
So-
not going to, but then I get more information,
Right.
and I have often changed my mind.
That's
And I
just for the
really
public
hope
to
we
know.
have I hope our chambers are full so that
Yeah,
we can all advocate
and we
for the
can
things
totally
we want.
paraphrase what they missed here.
Okay, then let me offer a motion.
Okay.
Let me recraft this one. I would like to move to set a second reading and public hearing for ordinance 2026-06 for February 17, 2026.
Second.
Okay, there was a motion by Councilmember Pappenford, seconded by Councilmember Martin, and that was to set a second reading and public hearing for ordinance 2026-06 for February 17th, 2026. Is there any further discussion?
Stevens,
Yes.
Rovinsky,
Yes.
Pappenfort,
Yes.
Schreiner,
Yes.
Fontana,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
motion passed.
Okay, we are moving on to reports. Councilmember Ravinsky. Didn't mean to call you out if you weren't ready.
Fantastic.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay,
Sure, after my
know that
little
happened.
trip, yeah.
that happened quick.
So, nothing to report really, but I would like to say it is Black History Month. Just like to throw my favorite couple books out there. The Assassination of Fred Hampton by Jeffrey Haas and Race Matters by Dr. Cornel West. If you're looking for something to read to celebrate the season, maybe check those two out. That's it.
Nice, okay. I just wrote down those to read. Councilmember Schreiner.
I didn't have anything prepared, but Joey, you just queued me up, so thank you for that. February is also Teen Dating Violence Prevention Month. There was an article today, or whatever most recent day, the Mountain Mail came out about the prevalence of sexual assault in the high school here in Salida. It's lengthy, but worth reading. It reminded me that I need to get my first pair of progressives because it was a lot of words, and they're very small. But it's a really good article, and it definitely brings home the experience of young people in our community. Sexual violence is very prevalent. I, as you know, was the director of the Alliance for a number of years before joining up here, and definitely saw it firsthand a number of times. And, a lot of what we hear is very focused on the accused, right? This might ruin their life. This is such a tragedy for them. And I just want to bring back to the center the person who was the victim of sexual violence and what that does to their life. And just want to kind of refocus that conversation on the people who've experienced that, and sort of pull the focus away from the accused or the perpetrator or the quote unquote bad guy. Because so often our culture and our judicial system just pivots directly there. And a lot of times the victims get lost in the shuffle. So just wanted to call that out, and as always, say that if you or someone you know has experienced sexual violence, or you have questions, or you just want to decompress or debrief about something, the Alliance is there to help you, as am I.
Thank you. Councilmember Pappenfort?
Okay, Housing Authority. So real estate project development, 2025 was a significant year for CHA. They contributed 150 units to the county's deed-restricted housing stock, either through supporting financing, acquisition, or construction, including 17 units at James Place, 33 units at the Crossing in BV, 20 units at the Flour Mill, Salida, supported acquisition of 2 mobile home parks in partnership with CHT, that's Chafee Housing Trust for people who are sick of acronyms, accounting for about 80 units. Land Bank 1 parcel in BV at Alpine West entitled for up to 70 units. James Place ribbon cutting ceremony was held and received positive press. The Crossing BV, the 1.6 million HDG grant is currently being executed. The Flour Mill has a 1.1 million HDG Nets Housing Department. Help me with that acronym, Christy. HDG. It's something like that. They give me a lot of acronyms and I haven't learned them yet, right?
What were the letters?
HDG, and there's a 1.1 million HDG
Housing development
contract underway with Flour Mill.
Perfect.
Housing development grant.
Yeah, that's what I think it is. I think it's housing development.
Just the key words.
There's everything in it that we want. Free money, houses, development.
Yeah, the J Street project is not resolved, so we'll see what happens with that as more time goes by. Property management is happening at Midland Income Verification, James Place Management, the 505 Management, CHT Rental Management, and CHT Resident-Owned Communities. The developer partnerships, there's a couple of those. Ongoing discussions with Scott Street Apartments. The Flour Mill operating agreement will hopefully be approved during January's upcoming board meeting. Developer meetings, I'm not going to go into all of that because this goes on for quite a while. There's a whole section on education, PR, and advocacy, which are among the things that we're trying to accomplish at the Housing Authority. And I'm going to call it, but anybody who would like to see the whole thing, let me know, and I will forward the executive director report to you.
Thank you. Okay, Councilmember Fontana?
Okay, so I have a couple things. First of all, we are all up here on city council. I'd just like to read a real short statement. I have up here, as with everyone else up here, has taken an oath to my constituents and to my duty, and I will always vote with integrity and honesty, as I'm hoping everyone else up here would. Everyone on council knows someone who owns an STR or is a real estate agent or is related to them or owns a house through Chafee Housing Trust and works with other programs in the community. So in saying that, we're all gonna know somebody who brings an issue forward. So our oath up here supersedes that. As long as you can vote honestly, with integrity, to know that your vote is not swayed and your vote is made in the best interest of your constituents, then that is the best that you can ask for as taking an oath on city council. So that's kind of all I had. The other part of that is, I know that we all discuss certain issues with certain people, and we all don't discuss those same issues with the same people. So everybody is taking in something personal. We all have different lives. We all have different backgrounds. That's what we're doing up here. We're a diverse council. So in that, it makes us a council that hopefully can represent everyone with our votes. My other part of the council report, golf course. Golf course is, I haven't had another meeting, but I have been receiving some emails. They are getting ready to open, believe it or not, there has not been much of a winter. And so I know that within a month or so, possibly 6 weeks, they will be ready to open. The memberships are open already. Their tournaments, they're getting ready to register for all of those for the season. So that is coming if you're interested in that. Thank you to all of the city of Salida for hosting the cast, to Verotouch for their support, Fading West, and to Monarch, who definitely supported cast with the skiing on Friday. Yeah, that's a lot of work for our city staff. And then thank you to our only gentleman who spoke up at our citizen comment. If there is a way that you would like to reach out, I would love to have you reach out to me. I'm sure anyone else also. Not sure where you live, or if you just, live right here or anywhere, I'd be definitely willing to meet with you and discuss some of the South Arc stuff. There's a lot of history there, so I'd be willing to do that. So that's all my report. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, Councilmember Martin.
Yeah, I wanted to thank staff as well, as a council member who participated in the events and was there for all of it. I want to say thank you for doing all of that for us. It was so incredible, and I will say some of my big takeaways from our cast event at the conference that was had. One, something that I look forward to discussing a bit more and really looking at, and I know I've mentioned it before, is parking management here in Salida. And then also looking at different funding mechanisms that we can look at as a city. I look forward to our retreat that we're gonna have, just getting more into the nitty gritty of these ideas. And yeah, it was a really great time, and it's such a unique experience to be able to be the host city for CAST. The first night, we were all at the arcade, and I heard several of the other visiting mayors, council members, city administrators, and staff talk about how it was nice because it was just, they felt normal, like we were just hanging out at an arcade playing skee ball, getting tickets, and then being like, I want to get the cheap pair of sunglasses, and it was that was just a great start to show who we are. We're all here. We wear melly sometimes to our council meetings. Like, it's just, it is what it is. And I think that's, we're very unique for that, and I appreciate that about us, and I appreciate our staff making sure that character of Salida was shown in the events and planning and everything like that. I wanted to thank Mr. Lefevre for coming back. That takes a lot of reflection and self-awareness, and I really appreciate that, and I hope that your energy gets spread to the rest of our constituents who come in here. But truly, though, I want to say thank you for that, and thank you for listening to us as well as we. I don't know if it was from other community members of oh, this is actually what's going on at Vanderveer, or if you went back and watched the tape. But either way, the tape. Oh my gosh, on YouTube.
YouTube.
YouTube. But just want to say thank you. And
They still say tape, don't they?
yeah, they still say tape, right? I think that's all I have. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Stevens.
Not much. I just wanted to let everybody know about the rock school performance that was that last weekend? And I just wanted to throw it out to our mayor, Fratelli, for being our MC, which was a not easy task. He had to fill a lot of space there. And we did a great job. Thanks for Shelley Schreiner for helping him up there and being the I guess showing
Lovely
off
assistant.
Yes.
showing off the merchandise that you could play. And just a shout out to all the kids. Shout out to Bones. What a great service, I guess, that he provides for the kids to go and have a place to show their talents. She got a lot. We're pretty fortunate here, not only in the young youth music talent, but also up through, all the way up through the ages here in Salida. We're very lucky with the type of the talent in music and lots of other things, but I'm just on the music rant right now. But yeah, it was a great show, and that's something that really was great to be able to attend. So that's all I got for tonight.
Awesome. Well, thank you. All right, my report. Attended Ascent, and wow, some amazing, local entrepreneurs doing amazing things. There's one of them is a kid, a high school kid who's now has invented an omnidirectional one-wheel hoverboard thing. I'm like, holy crap, that kid's gonna be a millionaire. That kid's gonna be a millionaire. So yeah, wow, it's obviously working. I was honored enough to represent the city and just thanking Ascent and pitching what they do for our community, especially, and just seeing all these entrepreneurs pitching things that are just incredible on the local level is a really cool thing to see.
PBS was even there.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, I know. That was really cool to see. Also, let's see, I sat in for planning and zoning interviews, and I just wanted to say that there were more people that had applied to that than in the history of planning and zoning.
That's why.
I almost felt compelled to be like, you're aware of how long their meetings are, right? But I think they knew that. And I think that spark of community engagement, we saw it here for candidates for these seats, seeing it for planning and zoning. It's just that is something that I've noticed. It feels really good. I don't feel so alone that people want to get involved. And so many of the applicants were like, if this doesn't work out, I want to sit somewhere. I want to be on something. And that was just awesome to see. So yeah, with CAST being here, what a great opportunity to have some pretty, just on face value, a lot of wealthy communities spending money in our community. I was definitely there. Hey, this shop is good. This is an awesome place to go thrifting. Go to all the shops. Yeah, wherever. But the tours were great. If you guys haven't toured Fading West or Vero Touch yet, please do. It's really cool to just see. It just feels very futuristic. It's weird to see what looks like a Toyota car assembly for houses. That was pretty incredible. Or just 3D printed homes, and then seeing these other communities taking notes. And seeing and shout out to Bill for making a presentation. I saw a lot of people taking notes, and it just feels good. When we first started, attending CAST or attending CML, we were there. We were the ones taking notes. I remember just being like, wow, these communities are on top of it, and they have all these consulting things, and they're coming up with all these creative things. And so it was really just a special thing to see that now we have something to say at that level, and people are taking notes, and we're noted. And so keep up the good work, staff, and we'll keep taking all the credit.
As long as you take the blame too, it's totally fine.
Well, that is
Both
inevitable.
sides. It's both sides.
Thanks for reminding me about that. Let's see, tomorrow night, the intergovernmental dinner, that's just, touching base with all of our neighbors and the county. So that'll be a good opportunity to just catch up and see what everybody's up to there. And a couple other things. I know Diesel isn't here, but last meeting, there was a moment where in public comment, there was, it got personal, and there was somebody personally going at staff, just staff in general. And I let it slide because I felt at the time I was kind of surprised at the line of questioning, and it felt softball enough. But it is my job up here to make sure that this remains a business meeting and doesn't become personal, unless it's public comment in which you can say whatever you want. But to compel staff to defend themselves in a meeting was that was wrong. It won't happen again. We will make sure to keep things just about business, and if it is a public comment, we just kind of let it wash over us like stinging hot rain. And let's see what, oh yeah, also, are we still looking for a volunteer for the grant review committee for,
No, Councilmember Fontana.
Oh.
Raised her hand virtually.
oh, you did virtually? Okay, that's why I
Via
didn't see.
email.
Email, okay, great.
Thank you.
Great, check, so we have that, that's one less thing. And then also, this Friday, league championships, Salida Middle School girls are the best team in their league. So, they're going for the championships, this Friday. And the Salida Middle School Dream Summit, is making a stop at council chambers on Wednesday, the 11th. And, they wanted to hear, somebody like me talk to them about, civic duty and civil service and how fun it is. So, and then thank you, staff, for making it, it looks like you're really making it fun, a lot more fun than me just talking at them. I appreciate you doing that. And that's all I had. Now, attorney report.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to echo what you shared about just the last 8+ years I've been here, what the status of Salida and the growth in the state community. So it's pretty cool to see that. And it was also an honor for me to also attend the Colorado Association of Ski Towns cast meeting in Salida. It was the second time it's been in Salida in the past few years, which is pretty neat. And also on a personal note, my daughter was on her skis for the first time on Monarch at 2.5 years old. So that was pretty exciting on Friday, yeah.
Really, yeah.
Because when they get to 6.5, it's double black diamond. Laughing and lapping the backside, so, hey.
And treasurer report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We will take the direction of council, specifically Councilmember Ravinsky, and see if we can identify some key performance indicators around the short-term rentals. So that's the end of my report.
And department updates.
Just to close out cast, I do appreciate the local sponsorship that we had as well. Monarch did donate 80 passes and provided breakfast for everyone on Friday morning. Excel Energy also hosted the reception on Thursday, and Chiefy County Economic Development Corporation hosted sponsorship as well. So I appreciate those. I did want to let you know, I do have Mr. Martinez's comments here in the chat. I would prefer not to read them because they are kind of vulgar. So if you'd like them, I can send them to you, copy and paste in an email. I'd prefer not to read it.
Yeah,
Yeah, please send them to us.
As
Thank
long
you.
as we get them, I think
You
that's
can get
what's
them.
important
I will make sure you
for
get them.
Public comment. but-
As you mentioned, we take all the praise, but also all the.
I just don't want to say the
stuff.
words.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't be compelled to say anything.
I
you
mean,
don't wanna
I've
say.
said the words. I just don't feel like.
Not in that order, though. Okay. Okay, well, the only other thing right now would, there was a request to go into executive session. I wanted to know if the one of the two council members that brought up the topic would like to move us into that.
Sure, either one of us will do it.
There you go.
suppose,
I
so I'll
kind
do
of bracketed and then it's highlighted and all that.
I move to go into executive session for a conference with the city attorney for the purpose of receiving legal advice on specific legal questions under CRS Section 246402, 4B, for the purpose of determining positions relative to matters that may be subject to negotiations, developing strategy for negotiations, and/or instructing negotiators under CRS Section 246402, 4E, to discuss the purchase, acquisition, lease, transfer, or sale of real, personal, or other property interests under CRS Section 246402, 4A.
Second, right?
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to say, add this, I'm not finished. Leasing and operation of the City of Salida Golf Course property and related agreements, and that's.
Perfect, thank you. I was just like, that's not how it ended. Okay, cool. And then we have a second. So we have a motion from Councilmember Pappenfort, seconded by Councilmember Martin, to move into executive session for a conference with the city attorney for the purpose of receiving legal advice on specific legal questions under CRS Section 24-6-4024B, and for the purpose of determining positions relative to matters that may be subject to negotiations, developing strategy for negotiations, and/or instructing negotiators under CRS Section 24-6-4024E, and to discuss the purchase, acquisition, lease, transfer, or sale of real, personal, or other property interests under CRS Section 24-6-4024A, and for leasing and operation of the City of Salida Golf Course property and related agreements. Any further discussion?
Ravinsky,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Shriner,
Yes.
Pappenfort,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Montana,
Yes.
motion passed.
Okay. Let us retreat into the fortress of solitude. This could be our fortress of solitude. All right. I'm just like, turn us back on, JM.
I'm gonna stand here awkwardly, okay?
Yeah.
Mic's not on.
It's on, it's on.
Okay, hi. Okay, we have concluded the executive session. For the record, if any, oh wait, and our direction was to offer up parameters for negotiations with the Greater Salida Recreation Corporation. And any further developments in that negotiation will be addressed in future meeting.
Any formal action. will
Formal
be,
action.
Voted on in public at a regular city council meeting.
Thank you, so well said. For the record, if any person who participated in the executive session believes that any substantial discussion of any matters not included in the motion to go into executive session occurred during the executive session, or that any improper action occurred during the executive session in violation of the open meetings law, I would ask that you state your concerns for the record. Seeing none, the next agenda item is to adjourn.
So move to adjourn.
All in favor? Everybody apparently? Everybody opposed? No. Oh my God!